Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. It's Saturday, so I'm just gonna do a quick overview of my week, and I've just been tracking in a Notion template or Notion journal. So nothing too crazy, but I thought it'd be good to just go over a few of these trades. So they were all mechanical, pretty much. However, there were some days that I did kind of trade with outside of some of the rules, so I'll have to work on that next week. And I'll get to that here in a second. So the first day, which was September 15th, let me just make sure that's, yes, that was Monday. Yep. And so just looking at the graphic that I took, or the screenshot I took, this was 6 a.m. These were all 6 a.m. trades. This one, okay, I can see here, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but it was either, so it's a little bit of not confusion, but there was an option or a choice here. So we had a larger fair value gap down below price, and then this one, smaller one here on the 30-second. This is probably a 1 minute down below, either a 1 minute or a 5 minute fair value gap. However, this one definitely was a 30-second fair value gap. Anyway, so the choice is, do you take it or do you wait for it to pull back? And in this case, obviously, the right choice was to just take it. It is a risk that you take. That's kind of the gamble when this appears. It did pay off, but it very well could have lost because my stop loss was at the top of this fair value gap. But anyway, pretty straightforward trade nonetheless. Price traded into a fair value gap on a 30-second unmitigated fair value gap. Got a close above previous candle high. So coming out of that fair value gap, so right here was the entry. Looks like I just entered right at the close of that candle, the opening of this red candle, which pulled back. Probably a couple of points maybe. And after that, took about 15 minutes or so. Let's just call it 15 minutes to play out. So that was a decent trade nonetheless. Alright. Okay, close that one. Tuesday. Looks like it said price consolidated. Okay, so I had a total negative 8 points on this one. I think I remember this one pretty well. So this is one of those where I'm trading outside of my rules. It looks like there was no setup at early in the macro, and it just consolidated. So 5:45 a.m. is when the macro starts. There was a trade here that I did not take. I'm not sure why I didn't take that one here, because there's no real fair value gap starting here. So I like to see when price came down. I like to see a fair value gap form on that initial leg down. It did not anywhere. I'm looking over here. But obviously there was a fair value gap here that price ran into and left, but it looks like it closed below it. So, it was definitely outside of it too much. So I did not take that one, which was the right idea. And then it looks like I was thinking, okay, well, it's going to continue bearish. So it looks like I sold here. Yep, I sold right here. And obviously it went back up. Ultimately, the sells were the correct direction. Looks like I had two swings at it. This one was outside of the macro completely. So anywhere between 5:45 and 6:15 is the original macro, but then I do allow myself a follow-up, or if I lost in the first macro, I will allow a second trade within the 6:45 a.m. to 7:15 a.m. But this was a mistake. I shouldn't have taken that because it was not within my second macro, which did work out. So anyway, that's a good takeaway for me. And then looks like the rest. Okay, so this one Wednesday, again, I didn't really mark out the macros really well. I'll have to do that better next time like I did in the previous day. This definitely was a losing trade. This first one just was a loser. I can see it came off of this fair value gap here. It was picture perfect, just lost. Second one, looks like I tried to sell for some reason. That's just a random sell. Maybe off this. Maybe I was looking at this inversion here. That's probably what I was looking at. Shouldn't be doing that. I don't really take inversions. But again, I changed my bias to go short, thinking this was a stronger point of interest down here, which was the 5-minute fair value gap, which was the correct bias after the first failure. So, and it looks like, oh yeah, I got shaken out of this one. I never should have gone in here. The actual entry was on this candle. Yep, so I marked that up there. But I entered early. Shouldn't have done that. The second entry was perfect. It was within the macro. Should have just waited. Gotta be a bit more patient on those. Okay, and then the next 2 days were just straight up winners. Pretty much, followed the rules. Just waited for price to come into a fair value gap, and take my entry on a candle close above the previous candle high for a buy. That's what that one was there. And Fridays was the sell. This was a really good trade. Price 5:45 a.m. It had I already left one of the. So this was the real entry I should have taken. I don't know what happened there, but I didn't take that first entry. Got a nice pullback, and I was like, okay, this is my chance. Got in late. This right here was the fair value gap continuation entry right there on the close of, well, really that candle, because it did close below the previous candle low. So that was really the true entry. This one would have been a follow-up. Looks like I just missed it and just decided to jump in right here, which was worked out fine. So anyway, that's all I got for that. And this is the actual TakeProfitTrader account for that. But we're just looking at these trades. The balances, they match up, but I don't know how they track the dates. So I don't know if it's like midnight to midnight, or I don't know what they do. But profit target, I'm like $650 away. So my balance right now on this account is $25,880. So I need, well, basically 2 more trades. If I don't get out of my plan and break my rules, then I just take 2 more trades. Winning trades will cross me over the finish line for this account. And then the rules for TakeProfitTrader for the buffer, you just have to reach your max daily drawdown, which on this account is 1,500. So once I pass the account, I need to make another 1,500, and then that 1,500 is the buffer. And anything above that, I can start taking daily payouts. And that's what's nice about the TakeProfitTrader, is that there's no restriction on when you can take payouts. It's like you can take them every day if you want, as long as you're above the buffer. And that's really, that's pretty much having like a live account, your own personal account. It's the same thing. Only the rules are totally enforced, which is not bad. Not a bad deal. And plus you're leveraging all of their capital. So anyway, that's all I got for today. I think I'll leave it at that. Hopefully you're doing well. Have a great weekend, everyone. And we'll see you next week. Take care.